I was sitting in my car in the parking lot of a coffee shop in Mobile, Tennessee, looking at a photo on my phone. It was a page torn from the Sunday crossword puzzle. 3 words were circled in red ink. The handwriting was shaky. After 78 years, arthritis will do that. But the message was clear. I'd been waiting 3 years for that signal. For the past 10 years, my parents had told everyone I was unemployed. They made fun of me at church dinners. They mocked me at family weddings. They even did it at my own grandmother's birthday party. What they never knew was that I investigate people exactly like them for a living. And my grandmother had just sent me the code. What happened at that Thanksgiving dinner 30 minutes later ended up making the front page of the Mobile paper. But before I get to that, you need to understand how a family can decide that one of their own has no value and what it costs them when they realize they were wrong. Welcome back to Calm Drama Stories. I'm Bethany, 34 years old, and this is the story of how my family tried to erase me and how one crossword puzzle brought the truth into the open. If you've ever been the family member nobody believed in, the one everyone talked about behind closed doors, stay with me. Leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Most mornings, I'm at my desk by 7 o'clock. My office is on the 3rd floor of the Knox County Government Building in Knoxville, Tennessee. Fluorescent lights, beige walls, and a coffee machine that's been broken since April. Nothing about it is glamorous. The nameplate on my cubicle reads Senior Investigator, Adult Protective Services. I've held that position for 6 years. Before that, I worked 4 years as a field caseworker. That's 10 years total protecting elderly adults from financial exploitation, neglect, and abuse. I usually manage around 12 active investigations at any given time. During those 10 years, my unit has recovered more than $3 million stolen from elderly victims. Pension funds emptied by sons, savings accounts drained by daughters-in-law, property deeds forged by nephews who assumed grandma would never notice. I've been the lead investigator on 47 closed cases. 47 families got their money back, their dignity restored, or at least learned the truth. I'm good at what I do. I can recognize a forged power of attorney after reading only a few pages. I can examine a bank statement the same way a mechanic studies an engine. I know what should be there, and I know when something has been removed. The irony was that my own family had no idea. They didn't know my title, my workload, or my record. The only thing they believed was that Bethany left Umville after high school and never came back to do anything worthwhile. That was enough for them. 47 families got justice because of my team. My own grandmother wasn't one of them. Not yet. Our crossword tradition started when I was 8 years old. Every Sunday morning, Grandma Helen and I sat on the front porch of the farmhouse, the same porch my great-grandfather built in 1952, and worked through the crossword from the Mobile Daily Times. She always let me hold the pencil. I'd fill in the easy answers, 3-letter words, animals, colors. She handled the difficult clues, but she always explained every answer so I'd learn something. 7 across, she'd say. Tenacity means you don't quit, even when the pencil breaks. Grandma taught 2nd grade at Mville Elementary for 40 years. She retired at 65 with a pension, a savings account she built one deposit at a time, and the farmhouse sitting on 40 acres that had belonged to the Foster family for 3 generations. She was organized. She was patient. Every bill was paid on the first day of the month, and every receipt went into a shoebox under the kitchen sink, sorted by year. When I was 16, while the rest of my family acted like college was something people like us didn't do, Grandma quietly pulled me aside after Thanksgiving dinner. She placed $500 in cash into my hand from her own savings and said, "Don't tell your mother. She'll never understand, but I do." The next week, I applied to UT Knoxville. 4 years later, I earned my degree in social work. 2 years after that, I completed my master's degree. At every graduation, Grandma mailed me a crossword page with one word circled: proud. The crossword, the pencil, the porch, and her patience weren't simply traditions. They became a language that only the two of us understood. My mother, Linda Foster, became pregnant with my brother Darren when she was 17. She was only 3 weeks into her first year at community college when the pregnancy test came back positive. She left school that same day. That was in 1989. She spent the next 37 years raising 2 children, managing the household, working part-time at the church thrift shop, and watching other women complete dreams she never had the chance to finish. I don't think she ever forgave life for that, and I know she never forgave me. Linda didn't resent me because she was naturally cruel. She resented me because I had the opportunity she lost, the chance to leave. And when I took that opportunity, but didn't come back with a husband, a job she understood, or a paycheck she could proudly talk about at church, her resentment slowly became permanent. My father, Ray Foster, drove long-haul trucks for 23 years. It was steady work with decent pay. Then, 6 years ago, his back gave out. 2 herniated discs, surgery, a full year of physical therapy only partly covered by insurance. Soon after, the trucking company closed and he filed for bankruptcy. Somewhere during that difficult period, he started betting on sports online. Somewhere along the way, he lost whatever savings he still had. Ray wasn't cruel by nature. He became cruel because of debt. There's a difference, even if the damage feels the same. He accepted Linda's version of my life because it was easier than explaining his own failures. As long as everyone laughed about Bethany, the unemployed daughter, nobody asked Ray where his pension money had gone. Then there was my older brother, Darren, 37 years old, still living in Millville, still working at Henderson's Hardware on Route 9. Darren stayed. He stayed after I left. He stayed when Dad lost his job. He stayed when Mom moved back in with Grandma. To him, staying meant loyalty. Leaving meant betrayal. He wasn't wrong for feeling that way. He was simply mistaken about what real loyalty actually looks like. When the records for the main account arrived at our office in a sealed manila envelope, Janet asked me to come into the conference room. She closed the door. "It's worse than we expected." She spread the bank statements across the table. There were 26 pages, one for each month over the past 2 years. 24 months earlier, the account balance had been $131,000. My grandmother's life savings, 40 years of earnings from teaching in public schools, saved carefully and spent wisely. The numbers showed a pattern I had seen many times in similar cases. Every month, there was a $2,000 withdrawal to Ray Foster marked as household expenses, totaling $48,000 over 2 years. There were also charges for home repairs that were never completed. $3,500 for a new water heater, even though the old one was still installed. $4,500 for roof repairs, while the gutters were still falling apart. $2,800 for electrical work, yet the porch light had been broken since spring. Linda's name appeared on 6 checks written to a medical billing company I had never heard of. Janet had already investigated it. The company didn't exist. The total amount missing was approximately $127,000. The power of attorney had been signed 2 years earlier while Grandma was in the hospital with pneumonia. Linda had brought the paperwork into her hospital room, "Just temporary, Mom, until you're back on your feet." Grandma signed the documents. She never received them back. Then I found the detail that made it difficult to stay professionally detached. Grandma's arthritis medication, methotrexate, costing $340 each month, had not been paid for 3 months. The pharmacy had stopped filling the prescription. While Ray purchased a new truck and Linda wrote checks to a fake company, my grandmother sat alone in her farmhouse without the medication she needed just to move her hands. Janet left me alone with the statements. That evening, I took them back to my apartment in Knoxville, a 1-bedroom unit on the 3rd floor of a brick building near the university. I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee that slowly went cold and read every line on every page. 26 pages, 26 months. Each page represented another month of my grandmother's savings disappearing little by little. Page 8, $2,000 to Ray Foster. Page 9, another $2,000 to Ray Foster. Page 12, $4,500 for repairs that were never completed. I had reviewed hundreds of financial exploitation files during my career. I understood the patterns, but nothing prepared me for page 26. The final line of the statement showed the current balance, $3,412.08. I read it again. Then I placed the paper flat on the table beside my cold coffee. 40 years of lesson plans, classrooms, and dedication, reduced to $3,412.08. That was all that remained of my grandmother's life's work. Every morning, she stood in front of 22 second-grade students and taught them how to read. Every afternoon, she graded papers at the kitchen table while dinner baked in the oven. Every month, she deposited her paycheck and watched her savings grow little by little, year after year. A total of $131,000 built through 4 decades of patience and discipline had been reduced to an amount that would not even cover 3 months of her arthritis medication. I placed the statement on the table, picked up my phone, and called Janet. How quickly can we move? I sat there looking at those 26 pages documenting my grandmother's life, disappearing one transaction at a time. If you've ever watched someone you love be taken advantage of by the very people who were supposed to protect them, you know that quiet moment when you realize you have to act. If this story feels familiar, keep watching. The crossword puzzle hasn't appeared yet. I didn't recognize 3 more people. They were probably cousins. Smoke drifted from the kitchen chimney and laughter carried through the house. The smell of roasted turkey and sage stuffing filled the cold November air. I parked on the road just beyond the mailbox. Janet parked behind me, with Deputy Morris right behind her. I stepped out of the car. Gravel crunched beneath my shoes. I looked toward the porch, at the wicker chair where Grandma and I used to sit together working on crossword puzzles. I straightened my blazer and picked up the manila folder from the passenger seat. Janet walked on my left, and Deputy Morris stayed on my right. Together, we climbed the porch steps. 3 sets of footsteps echoed across the old wooden boards. I lifted my hand and knocked. It wasn't the polite knock I'd given 6 weeks earlier, when Linda closed the door in my face. This was a professional knock, 3 firm knocks, the kind that made it clear this conversation was going to happen. I heard footsteps inside. A chair scraped across the floor. Someone laughed, but the sound stopped as soon as the knock echoed through the house. Then I heard Darren's voice. "I'll get it. Probably Uncle Glenn running late." The door opened. Darren stood there with a dish towel over his shoulder and an easy smile on his face. It was the smile of someone hosting Thanksgiving, doing his part, trying to be the dependable son. The smile disappeared the moment he recognized me. His eyes shifted from my face to Janet's APS badge hanging from her lanyard, then to Deputy Morris's uniform, badge, radio, and duty belt. The dish towel slipped from his shoulder and landed on the floor. "What?" Darren asked, his voice unsteady. "What's going on?" "Hi, Darren," I said. "We need to come inside." He didn't move immediately. He remained in the doorway, trying to understand why we were there. Deputy Morris stepped forward, calm and professional. "Sir, we're here on official business. May we come inside?" Darren stepped aside automatically, the way most people do when a uniformed officer makes a formal request. We walked through the front hallway, past the coat rack, past the family photographs, and past Linda's graduation portrait that Grandma had displayed for 37 years. The dining room opened in front of us. A long oak table was covered with a white tablecloth. Grandma's wedding china was neatly arranged, the same set she only used during holidays. 22 people sat around the table. The turkey was still steaming. Cranberry sauce, sweet potato casserole, and fresh dinner rolls were arranged across the table. At the far end, closest to the kitchen, sat my grandmother, Helen Marie Foster, 78 years old, wearing her blue church dress with her hands folded in her lap. She looked at me. She noticed my gray blazer. Then she smiled. The room immediately became quiet. 22 forks stopped halfway to their plates. Linda stood at the head of the table with a carving knife in one hand and a serving fork in the other. She froze. Ray sat beside her with a wine glass raised halfway to his mouth. He stopped too. Pastor Johnson sat across from Ray with a napkin tucked into his collar. His expression quickly changed from confusion to concern. Aunt Patricia, Uncle Glenn, 6 cousins, Darren's wife holding their toddler, 2 women from Bible study. Every person in the room looked at me, then at Janet, and finally at Deputy Morris. Linda spoke first. "Bethany, what's going on? Who are these people?" Janet stepped forward. She opened her portfolio and removed the official APS investigation notice. "My name is Janet Caldwell with Adult Protective Services. We are conducting an active investigation into the financial exploitation of Helen Marie Foster." She placed the document beside the cranberry sauce. During the past 24 months, approximately $127,000 has been withdrawn from Mrs. Foster's bank accounts. Those withdrawals have been traced to Raymond Foster and Linda Foster. The words settled over the table. Aunt Patricia covered her mouth. Uncle Glenn leaned back in his chair. The cousins exchanged uncertain looks. Linda slowly lowered the carving knife. "This is Thanksgiving," she said, her voice shaking. "This is my mother's Thanksgiving dinner. You can't come in here." Deputy Morris answered calmly, "Ma'am, please have a seat." Janet placed 26 pages of bank statements on the table. She carefully spread them out between the turkey platter and the dinner rolls so everyone could clearly see the transactions. These are Mrs. Foster's bank statements from First Horizon Bank, obtained through a court-authorized subpoena, Janet explained. They document systematic withdrawals totaling $127,000, monthly transfers of $2,000 to Raymond Foster listed as household expenses, payments to a medical billing company that does not exist, and charges for home repairs. She pointed toward the window where the broken gutter was still visible. Repairs that were never completed. Ray slowly placed his wine glass on the table.